Right, so 2016 part A. Right now. Okay, so let's do this now. So what's the first question? So the first question is a mathematical induction question. So as usual. So now first question says to prove that right. So then here what you usually do is what? First of all, you define what the UR is, because this is sort of an expansion now. Right, so UR is right. So that is the first step. Correct no? Okay. So then what? So then you have to prove for R equals 1. So for R equals 1, the left hand side is what? R equals 1 to 1, R plus 1. That means 1 plus 1. That means 2. Correct no? So then for right hand side, R equals 1 to, sorry, that is what? 1 over 3, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2. Right no? So this can cancel off. So remaining is 2. Right? So for n equals 1, the statement is 2. Correct no? Right? So write this down. Right. So then what? So then I am going to assume for n equals p the statement is true. So for n equals p, right? So now basically assume for n equals p the statement is true. That means R equals 1 to p, R plus 1 is p over 3, p plus 1, p plus 2. Right? I'm going to keep that UR part here. UR equals right. So right. So then what? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the p plus 1 term to both sides. Right now, adding u p plus 1 to both sides. Right now, so then this becomes R equals 1 to p plus 1. That is R plus 1. Correct now? Right? Then this becomes what? So p over 3, p plus 1, p plus 2. Then what is u p plus 1? So you put p plus 1 instead of R. That means what? P plus 1, p plus 1 plus 1. So p plus 2. Correct no? Right? Okay. So now I see this p plus 1, p plus 2 is common no? Correct? So I'm going to cluster that out. that is P over 3 plus 1. Correct, no? Right? So now I can write this further as P plus 1, P plus 2, P plus 3 over 3. Right? So we have almost come to the answer. So write this down. Right. So we came up to here. Then now it's a case of manipulation. So now here you get r equals 1 to p plus 1 r plus 1 as what? P plus 1. So I'm going to write it in this way. So then I'm going to take this 3 here. Then P plus 2 I'm going to write as P plus 1 plus 1. P plus 3 I'm going to write as P plus 1 plus 2. Right now? So when we come up to here, we can write as what? For n equals 1, the statement is true if the statement is true for n equals p, then the statement is true for n equals p plus 1. Therefore, from the principle of mathematical induction, the statement is true for n which are positive integers. Correct, no? Right. Right. So question number 2. So question number 2 says question number 2 says that to sketch the graph y equals this modulus x plus this and y equal 2 modulus x minus 1. Right now? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this graph as y1 and y2. Right? So how to draw this modulus graph? So modulus this is x, so x will be 0 here. That means this is going to be 1. When x is less than 0, this is going to be minus x plus 1. Correct, no? Then when x is greater than 0, it's going to be the positive form. Yet again here, when x equals 1 only, this becomes 0. So we put the x equals 1 point here, since this is 0. When x is less than 1, so this part should be plus, so we have to make this a minus 1. That is minus 2x plus 2. When x is greater than 1, that means what? You just put this. Correct, no? So now we have the basic form to basically write this down, no? Right. So we can actually draw this now. But since the area is not enough, so just write this down and we'll draw it. Right, so let's draw the graph now. Okay, so how to draw the graph? Right, so right now, So now when I draw the y1 graph, so y1 starts from here 0, where this is when x is less than 1, this is going to be where this is going to be y1 equals minus x plus 1. This is y1 equals x plus 1. Correct, no? Right? Then what? Then the y2. y2 is, we start from here. This equals 1. Right? So when so if I take what is behind this, right, which is less than 1, so it's minus 2x plus 2. So if I put x equals 0, it will be 2. No? So this will basically wait. So there's a mistake here. So at x equals 0, the value is 1. Correct? The value is 1. No? So this graph will go like this. This is y1 equals minus x plus 1. This is y1 equals x plus 1. Correct, no? Then at x equals 1, the value will be 0. And then when if I put x equals 0 here, right? If I put x equals 0 here, that will be 2. No? So this will go. So this will have definitely a higher gradient. And this will go like this. This is 2. Correct, no? This is y2. This is y2 equals minus 2x plus 2. This is y2 equals 2x minus 2. Right, no? Okay, so that is that. So what are they asking next? Then they are asking, hence or otherwise, find all real values of x satisfying the inequality. Inequality this x plus 1 is greater than 2x minus 1. So what is this now? This is basically y1. No? This is y1, y2. So they are asking the range where y1 is greater than y2. Correct, no? Right? So that is between these, no? Now so we need to find this value, which is x1, and this value, which is x2. Correct, no? Right? So let's find those values now. So that is all we need to do here. Right. So now, so if I find those values here, right? So at x equals 1, right? At x equals 1, the y1 and y2 are y2 heights are the same, no? So y1 is equal to y2. So what is y1 there? Y1 is x1 plus 1, nah? So x1 is there, right? Because that x1 equals, so what is y2? Y2 is minus 2x1 plus 2. So then I will get 3x1 equals 1. So the x1 value is 1 over 3. Then at x2, again y1 is equal to y2. So at here, correct, no? So then what is y1? y1 is x plus 1. What is y2? y2 is 2x minus 2. So that is 3 comes here. Sorry, we have to put x2 here. So x2 is like this. So basically, now we can get the answer. So now we know what is x1, what is x2, right? So now we know that this is going to be equal to 1 over 3. This is going to be equal to 3. So what is the range where y1, which is this, is greater than y2? That means so the range where y1 is greater than y2 is x is between x1 and x2. That is x is 1 over 3. Right now. Right. So question number 3. Question number 3 is a complex number question. Right. So the complex number question. So they say sketch on the same Argand diagram the loci of points representing complex number z satisfying. First one is z minus I equals 1. So now by this expression, what can we draw? We can draw a circle. We can draw a circle where the center is 0, 1. Right? So I when z equals, so now this part is the center, right? So the center will be 0, 1. That means y-axis only this as a center, right? And then the radius is, so center is this, radius is 1. So that is what this signifies. Signifies, right? Then they are saying that is the other one. Argument z minus I as 5 over 6. So now this says about some angle, okay? But in more detail, we can write this. So we can this can represent a line where there is a 5 over 6 to be so now there is a 5 over 6 angle from here, where the starting point is x, so it goes through x equals I, right? Now so let's draw this now. So now what does this say? This is the I, this is I, this is the normal x here. So this is 1 here. So the first one is they have a center 0, 1 and the radius of 1. So this is z minus I equals 1. Correct now? Then what is this? Z minus 1. That means here, when this is the I know, so here, then there is a line which is 5 over 6. Can you all see this? Yeah? Right? So this will be right now. So I'm going to name. So now I'm going to name these up. This is 0. This is A. This is B. Right now. Then they are saying find the complex number represented by the point of intersection. Right. So they want B. They want the complex form of B. Right. Okay. So now to find the complex form of B, you need several stuff, no? right? So now what I actually need is that so first of all, so the requirements are I need to know this angle. I need to know this angle, right? Then I should know this length from 0 to b. So if I know those stuff, then I can write in complex form. Then no problem at all, right? Okay. So now that is my target now. Okay. So in order for me to find this angle, so I'm going to name this angle as beta, right? So the reason that I'm naming this as beta is because I'm going to take this as alpha. So since these are equal, this also will be alpha. Correct, no? Right? So now I can actually find the alpha value here, no? Very easily, because this is a triangle. Right? Then I can say alpha. So this is anyway going to be this 90, no? So 90. So this part is 5 over 6. So this part is 5 over 6. Correct, no? That part. So basically in the triangle we can say that 2 alpha plus 90 plus what is 5 over 6 is 30. 30 is going to be equal to 180. Right? So 2 alpha is going to be 60. Alpha is going to be 30. Right? So if alpha is 30, we know that alpha plus beta is 90. No? Yeah? Right? So what is beta? Beta is going to be 90 minus alpha or 90 minus 30. So beta is going to be 6 or 5 over 3. Right now? So that is done. So I found the beta value. Now I need to find the OB value. Right? So OB value is this. I need to find the OB value now. Right? So write this down, then let's find the OB value. Right? So I know beta now. So now I need to find OB. Right. So now I need to find OB. So I'll just draw this here. So I know that this is basically 5 over 3. So I know that this length is 1. No? Correct. So I know that this length is 1. I have to draw this in a meter way. So now I know the length is 1. Here 1. And now I know the angles as well, no? So alpha was what? Alpha was 30, no? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this OB, no? Right? So what is OB now? Now OB will be 1 sin theta, right? So 1 cos theta. So 1 cos theta is this, no? One cos 30. Sorry, yeah. So 1 cos 30 is this length, no? Right? So this length is 1 cos 30. So there are two. That is OB. Correct? Right now. So that is one. So this no? Correct? You can cut these on. Okay? So now you basically got OB and you got beta as well. So now you can write this point. So now you can find the point B, no? Right? So now you know basically everything now. Now I'm going to write point B as, so point B as, so that is R cos theta plus I sin theta, no? So now R is square root 3, theta is beta is 5 over 3. So I can write this as square root 3 cos 5 over 3 plus I sin 5 over 3. Right now? Clear now? Question number 4. So question number right. So question number 4 says, so it's about combinations and all. So now, as I said before, now this question is a new addition to this part A, yeah? Because this usually the first question was the binomial thing, right? So let's see now. This says how many different numbers with 5 digits can be made from digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if each digit is used only once. So what is this now? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay. So there can be 5 numbers here, right? So if I use one number, the remaining are 4. There can be 4 numbers here. The remaining will be 3. There can be 3 numbers here, 2 numbers here, 1. Right? So basically the number of combinations is what? Number of combinations will be 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 plus 2 times 1. Or basically if you use the theory, it basically simply what you call this, no? Right? Factorial of 5, right? So this is the theory, but this is the practical way, right? Okay. So factorial 5 is 120. Okay. So that is done. Then they ask him how many of these numbers are even numbers, right? Okay. So now it's a case of odds and evens. Right? Okay. So now, for this to be even, right? This can be what? This can only be 2 or 4. Correct? This can be either only 2 or 4 at the last digit, huh? Right now? Okay. So now, since the last digit is taken off, there can be only 4 more numbers now, right? Correct? Then what? So then there can be 4 numbers here. there can be 3 numbers here, 2 numbers here, 1 number here. Right now? Okay. So now let's assume we get 2 here. Okay. So number of different ways the number will end with 2. So now remember that I have chosen 2 here. So then there will be 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. Number of ways, right? Or basically factorial 4. Right now? Then that is what? That is 24. So in the same way, right? It can be 2 or it can be 4, no? Right? So number of different ways the number will end with 4. That is what? That is also the same, no? So the 4 will be there. The other things will be the same. 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. That is also 24. Right now? So the total number of even numbers will be what? The addition of these two. Simply. Right now? So the total number of even numbers will be plus, that means 2 times 24, that means 40. Right now? Right, so that is also done. So the what are they saying next? Have the digits 3 and 4 next to each other. E. Right. So now what are they saying is that this 2, 3 and 4 are together. Right now? So now this 3 and 4 are together. So there are basically now we should consider that there are only 4 numbers. Right? Because these two are together now. Right? So now the different so the number of combinations of these basically having is what? So there can be, so for the first digit, so there can be 4 combinations. So there can be 4 numbers because 1, 2, 3, 4. Here there can be 3, there can be 2, there can be 1. Correct now? Right? So this is basically number of ways 3, 4 are together in a number. That is factorial 4, or basically 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. Right now? Then what? Then there can, so then this can interchange, no? To have this together, now because it's 3, 4, it can be 4, 3, no? So the number of ways four, 3 are together in a number. So does this change now? No, because because now basically what I did was I just made this 4 3. So still there are four still there are four. So now if we cluster that out, so there are four numbers. So the different ways are factorial 4, right? So the total number of ways 3 and 4 are together in a number, that is going to be what? Factorial 4 plus factorial 4. That means 48, which is 24, 24. Right now? Clear now? Right, so next one is the limits question. So when considering the previous limits questions that we have done in the past papers, this is a bit different, but it's not hard, right? So let's see. Right, this says that alpha is greater than 0 such that limit x goes to 0, 1 minus cos alpha x 4 plus x squared minus 4 minus x squared is 60. Right now, so now we need to find alpha. Okay. So now when you start the sum, just forget about the 16. Right? 16 is needed. So simplify this in terms. So like simplify this and get your answer in the alpha form. Then you can equate this to 16. Right? So that is the way we are going to do this now. Let's see now. Limit x goes to 0. So I'm going to multiply this by the conjugate, because if I simply put x equals 0, this will be what? Minus 4 square minus 4 square. That's going to be 0. So that doesn't make any sense here. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. So right, so I multiplied by the conjugate both sides. Correct no? Then I get limit x goes to 0, 1 minus cos alpha x, 4 plus x squared, 4 minus x squared. This is 4 plus x squared minus 4 minus x squared. Correct no? Right, so basically this will get cut off, then you will get 2x squared here. Right now? Then right now, so write this down. Right, so we come up to here in mark. right? So here now, so I can convert this into a form where I can get utilized from this. So I'm going to get this in terms of sine square. Right? So what I'm going to do is 1 minus 2 sine square. So the half angle of this. Right now, over 2x square. So if I actually put the limit here, I will get square root 4 plus square root. Correct now? So now, if you all can't remember this now, so the theory is what? Theory is what? Cos 2x can be written as 1 minus 2 sine square. That is what I have utilized here. Right now? So then what? So then I can cut these off. Then I will get, so this 2 times 2 is 4. I will get here 2 sine square alpha x over 2. 2x square. So here is going to be 2 plus 2 is going to be 4. I can cut these off. Right? So what I'm going to, so the limit is here. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to make this part like this, right? I'm going to put an alpha square. Because I put the alpha square here, I will put an alpha square here as well. Since I put alpha square here, I will put alpha square here. Then since I want to have a 2 squared here, I will put a 2 squared here. Correct now? Right? Now what? So now I can get this, now I can utilize this now. So this is the next theory I am going to use. Right? But for that I need to change my limits now. Now when x goes to 0, right? X goes to 0. That is the limit that we have now. So now there is alpha x over 2 now. 0 times alpha. So if I divide this by 2, so alpha x over 2 also goes to 0. Correct now? So now then I can put the limit here. So I'm going to take these constants out. Alpha square 2 square into 4 limit when alpha x over 2 goes to 0 sine alpha x over 2 over alpha x over 2 square. Right now? Correct? So now I'm going to cut these off as well. Right? So now what does this go to? This goes to 1. Correct now? Right? So write this down. Right, so you come up to here, then what? So then you get what? Alpha square times 1 square. So this is equal to 16 now. Basically alpha square is equal to 16. This is basically 4 square. Right now? So now alpha can be 4 squared or minus 4 squared. Correct? So alpha is 4 or alpha is minus 4. But what? But the question says that alpha is greater than 0, right? So this will be rejected. Since alpha is greater than 0. So the answer is this. Right, so question number 6. So question number 6 says what? Show that the area of the region enclosed by the curves y equals x squared and y equals 2x minus x square is 1/3. Okay. So now they have given two curves, no? Right? So they have given curves as y equals x squared and y equals 2x minus x square. Right? So now it is not necessary for this to for you all to draw the graph here, right? So for us to get the area, what do? We have to integrate, no? Right? So that is the only way we know how to get the graph between two curves, no? Right? So now in order to do that, we need to know between which area these two are intersecting, no? So for that you all need to equate these two, no? So I am going to consider this as y1 and y2. So now y1 is equal to y2 and what? 2 right? Okay. So now you can get the answer, right? You can get the answer just by taking the limits of this. But for you all to have this more clear, I'll draw the graph. This is not necessary, yeah. So this is y1 equals x squared. So let me go like this. Then the other one is what? 2x minus x squared. So if it's x equals 0, it's going to be 0. If you go through this, but this is minus x squared. If you go like this, and this has a 2x part, so you probably go like this. Go through 0. So this is what? This is x equals 1. This is 0. So we basically need the area of this. This is y2. Clear? So they are asking what? The area of the region enclosed by the curve. So this is the thing, no? So we can get this answer by what? So the area will be what? Integration of, so integration of from 0 to 1 y2 minus y1 dx, right? Or you all can get y1 minus y2 as well, then you all will get a minus answer. But since this is an area, so you can actually take the modulus of this, right? So even if you get a minus answer, don't get scared or anything. So you just write the positive answer, or you all can start with the modulus, right? So then here I will get 0 to 1, 2x minus x square, right? 2x minus x square minus x square dx. So I will get 0 to 1, 2x minus 2x. Correct, no? So if I integrate this, I will get, so I can take 2 out. I'm going to take 2 out. Then I will get x squared over 2 minus x cube over 3. 1 0. Right now? Then I'm going to write it here. So it's basically so I will get what? 2 is out. So the 0 is anyway out now. I'll just take half minus 1 over. Then I will get what? 2 times 3 into 2 is 6. 3 minus 1. So then I will get what? 3 minus 2. That means no. Right now. Let's go to question number 7. So question number 7 is a differentiation question. Right? So in that question, what do they say? They say a curve C is given by the parametric equation x equals 3 sine square theta over 2 and y equals sine cube theta. Right now, then they are asking us to, and they are saying something important here. They are saying that theta is between 0 and 5 over 4. Right now, then they are asking show that dy over dx is sine 2 theta. Right, so we need to differentiate this and see. Now let's see. Now dx over d theta is what? 3 is anyway there. So if you differentiate this part, you will get 2 sine theta over 2. Then you differentiate sine theta part, which is cos theta 2. Then you differentiate the theta 2 part, which is half. Right now? So I'm going to cut these two off. Then I will get 3 times sine theta to cos theta. Right, so now I am looking at the answer. They are asking us to get dy over dx as sine 2 theta. No? So now sine 2 theta is what? 4 times this theta. No? Right now, so I am going to convert this into sine theta because of that. So what I am going to do is I am going to divide by 2 and go to multiply by 2. So that this becomes sine theta. So then I will get what? 3 over 2 sine theta as dx over dt. Is number 1. Correct, no? Right? Then what? Then I am going to get dy over d theta. So that is 3 times. So the 3 comes here, sine square theta. Then I have to differentiate the sine theta part, which is cos theta. Right now? Okay. So now we know this is 2. So now we can get dy over d theta. So what is dy over, so the dy over dx now, that is dy over d theta into d theta over dx. What is this? This is 3 sine square theta cos theta d theta, so this is 1 over this thing, so that means 3 over 2 sine. Correct, no? So then what? So then I can cut these off. Then I can cut one of these off. Then I get what? 2, so the 2 will come up, sine theta cos theta. Then I will get sine 2. Right now? Right, so then what are they asking? Then they are asking if the gradient of the tangent at a point P on C is square root 3 over 2, find the value of the parameter theta corresponding to P. Okay. Now what is that now? So now they are saying, so in this graph, there are some point P, and that tangent point, is what? So the value of the tangent point is, so dy over dx at theta equals P is square root 3 over 2. Right now? That is what they are saying. So now we know the dy over dx term, right? So we can basically substitute now dy over dx at theta. So I'll name this as theta p, yeah? Right? At theta p is going to be what? Sine 2 theta p, no? Is going to be equal to square root 3 over 2. Right, no? Then what? So then what I'm going to do here is, what is this? This can be written as what? This is square root 3 over 2, that means sine what? 5 over 3, no? Is basically sine 60, no? Right? So sine 2 theta p. So now 2 theta p, we can get the general solution, right? But they are saying something important. What was that? They said that what theta is between 0 to 5 over 4. That means 2 theta is between 0 to 9. Right? So now only between this, so the general solution is we don't need to take. Right now? So we can take this 5 over 3. So theta p will be 5 over 6. Right now? Right, so question number 8. So now in question number 8, they are testing your straight line knowledge. Right, so they are actually testing two theories in this sum. Right? Okay. So what are they saying? Let L be the straight line that passes through the origin and the point of intersection of the straight lines 2x plus 3y minus k. This is 2x plus 3y minus k equals, so I'm going to name this as L1. Right? Okay? Then and x minus y plus 1. X minus y plus 1. I'm going to name this as L2. Right? Okay. Where k is not 0 is a constant. Find the equation of L. Okay, so what is L now? L is something like this. This is L. Equation in terms of k. Right? So this is L now. So what is the theorem? So the theorem is what? So the theorem states that, so in the theory, L can be written as what? L can be written as L1 plus lambda L2. This is the theory. Right? So now we need to substitute and see. So apart from that, what is the other value we know? We know that this goes through 0, 0 somewhere. Right? So 0, 0 might not be here. It can be here or somewhere, but it goes through 0, 0. Correct? No? So now let's see. So now let's see and let's find out. So L will be, what is L1? 2x plus 3y minus k plus lambda x minus y plus 1, right, equal to 0 is the thing. Now I will get what? So this is the equation, right? No. So then what? So now I know it goes to 0, 0. No? So since L goes through 0, 0, L satisfies 0, 0 point. That means what? So if you put here 2 times 0 plus 3 times 0 minus k. So I am substituting 0, 0 here, plus lambda 0 minus 0 plus 1 is going to be equal to 0. That means what? Minus k plus lambda is going to be equal to 0. So lambda is going to be k. Right now? So now I'm going to write what L is. L is what? 2x plus 3y minus k. So now lambda is basically k, no? K x minus y plus 1. So then I will get what? If I take x out, 2 plus k. If I take y out, 3 minus k. Minus k plus k is going to be 0. Can be written as this, no? Right? So that is the first part they are asking. Right, so we came up to here. Okay, then what are they asking? Then they are saying it is given that point 1, 1, 3, 4 are on the same side of L, show that L is less than 18. Right, so now there is a theorem that you all need to know. Right? So as I said before, they are testing 2 theories. So one of the theories is done. Right. So the other theory is right. So the other theory is that what is that? So there is so now if there is a line like this, right? So now let's say this line is ax plus by plus c, right, equals 0. If there are points, let's say alpha, beta right? And there's another point gamma delta, right? If these are in the same side, okay, if you substitute these to the x and y and get the multiplication, this will always be positive. So what I mean here is, if I put a, so if I put ax plus by plus c, right, alpha beta times ax plus by plus c gamma delta, this will be positive if I'll name this as AB, if A and B are on the same side. So what I mean here is A alpha plus B beta plus C into A gamma plus B delta plus C will be greater than 0 if this is there. So this is the theory that we need to use here. Okay. So now if it's into opposite side, it will be minus. Okay, right? All right. So now, so write this down. Right. So now using this theorem, we can find the answer. Right. So what are the 2 points? That is 1 1, and the other thing is what? 3 4. Right. So what we have to do is what? We have to simply put these substitute these values here. That means what? So 1 2 plus k, y value is also 1, so plus 1 3 minus k into 3 2 plus k plus 4 3 minus k is going to be greater than 0, right? So then this will be what? So 2 plus k plus 3 minus k, this is going to be 6 plus 3k plus 12 minus 4k, 0. So these can be cut off. Then this will become 5 into 18 minus k greater than 0. So 5 is irrelevant here. Now I will get 18 minus k greater than 0. So 18 is less than, so 18 is greater than k, so k is less than 18. Right now. So question number 9. So in question number 9, they say A and B. So they have given A and B points, and S be the circle with AB as the diameter. Okay. They have AB here, right? So we have AB here, where A is what? 1 2, B is minus 5 4, right? So if I go in a very fundamental way, because this is the diameter, I know that if I take any point here, it will be square. It will be perpendicular, right? Now, so if I put a point here as P, which is xy, right? So I can. So I know that AP is perpendicular to PB. Correct, no? Right? So basically MAP, MPB is going to be minus 1. Correct, no? Right? So what is MAP now? So the gradient will be what? Y minus 2 x minus 1. This is what? PB will be y minus 4 x minus 5 is plus 5. Right? So now here you all can get the equation as what? So this is basically the derived equation for so now since this is in the syllabus, you all can use this straight away, right? But I just showed you how it actually comes. So now if you simplify this, you will get as what? Y squared minus 4y minus 2y plus 8. Then you will get x squared 5x minus x minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to cluster this out. So x squared plus y squared. Then this is going to be 4x. This is going to be minus 6y. This is going to be plus 3. So this is what they are asking as the first question. Right. So the second part. So the next part says it is given. The circle with center 1 1 which intersects S orthogonal. So we have to find that equation as well. Right, so that is basically what. So now if there are two things like this is intersecting orthogonally, then what if this is S1 x squared plus y squared plus 2 g1x to f1y plus c1, this is S2 x squared plus y squared plus 2g2x to f2y plus c2, right? So now if it's intersecting orthogonally, then what? Then we know that if the circles are intersecting orthogonally to g1 g2 to f1 f2 is going to be equal to c1 plus c2. Right now? So now we know S1. So now we found S1. So what was S1? So S1 was x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y plus 3 equals 0. Right now? So we need G1, G2 of this. So we need G1 and F1 here. So now what? 4 is basically so So what is the common? So this is the common way. No? So 2g1 is basically 4. That means g1 is 2. Correct? No? Then 2f1 is minus 6. So f1 is minus 3. So c1 is 3. Right? No? So we found g1, f1, c1. Right? So now we need to find the others. No? So what is S2 now? Right. So in S2 they have given the they have given the centers. So they have given center. So what is the center? Center. So here for center is minus 1 minus 1. Yeah. No, plus 1 plus 1. Right? And center can be written as what? Minus g2 minus f2. Right? No? Then basically g2 is minus 1, f2 is minus 1. Correct? No? So now we know g2, f2. So now we can find c2. No? Right? So now we can find c2. So then if I know g1, so now if I know all this, we can find the equation of S2. Correct? No? Right? So now let's find it out. Now 2 times, what is g1? g1 is 2, g2 is minus 1, 2, f1 is what? Minus 3, f2 is minus 1, c1 is 3 plus c2. This is going to be minus 4, minus 3 minus 1 is going to be plus 1, plus 3, plus 3 into 2 is going to be 6, 3 plus 3 2. This is going to be 2, 2 minus 3 is going to be minus 1, c2 is going to be minus 1. Right now? So then what is S2 now? S2 can be written as what? X squared plus y squared. G is what? Minus 1. So 2 times minus is going to be minus 2x. If I put minus here, so minus 2 minus 2y. So now C2 is what? Minus 1. Right now, clear? Right. So question number 10. So in question number 10, they are telling us to solve the equation. Right. So now it is given that cos x plus cos. So we have to solve this equation. 2x plus cos 3x is going to be equal to sin x plus sin 2x plus sin 3x. Correct? No? Right? So if I remind you some theory here, so before that let's rearrange this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to arrange these two together and these two together. Right? Because the reason behind that is I know if I add these two up, I can get cos 2x. So that there will be a common. So those will be common. That's the reason I am doing this. So cos x plus cos 3x plus cos 2x is equal to sin x plus sin 3x plus sin 2. So if I remind you some theory now. What is that? So cos A plus cos B is what? You can write this as what? 2 you have to at these angles and divide by 2. Cos A plus B over times what? So because it's cos, no, it will be again cos. But here this time it will be subtraction of the angles over 2. Then for this we need what? Sin addition, so sin A plus sin B is what? 2 sin A plus B over 2 cos A minus B. Right now, so this is the theory reminder. Right now, okay. So now if we use this now, if you use this now, so we will get what? 2 times cos x plus 3x over 2 cos x minus 3x over 2 plus cos 2x equals 2 sin what? 2 sin x plus 3x over 2 sin x minus 3x over 2 plus sin 2x. So write this down. Right, so now we don't need this now. So here this was cos. Right, so then if we get the answer now, so now here this will become what? 2 times cos 4x over 2 is cos 2x, and this is cos minus x, but so cos minus x plus cos 2x plus equals to 2 sin 2x cos minus x plus sin 2x. Now cos minus x is equal to cos x, no, right? So now I'm going to take the cos 2x out here. 2 cos x plus 1 sin 2x 2 cos x plus 1. Right now, then I can take cos x plus 1 as the common point and subtract this cos 2x minus sin 2x. Right now, so now there is an important point here. So they have given a range, correct? No, so they have given a range as what? X is between 0 and 5 over 2. Right now, okay. If I draw this all STC, right? Now x is between 0 and 5 over 2, right? These are not equal or anything. This is between, right? No, it's actually equal. Sorry. Right. So now, between x equals 0 and 5 over 2 here, right? this cannot be 0, correct? Because cos x cannot be minus 1 between this, between here cos x does not become minus 1, right? Therefore what? So cos x will be greater than or equal to 0 in the range. Therefore 2 cos x plus 1 will be greater than 0. Right now? So now this will not be 0, correct now? Right? Therefore cos 2x, so therefore we can actually divide this, no problem. Then we will get cos 2x minus sin 2x as 0. That means what? So then we can get sin 2x is equal to cos x, right? That means tan 2x will be equal to 1, correct no? Right? Then this is basically what? Tan phi over 4, right? Or what? Or else what? We can get one either tan phi over 4 or basically or tan phi plus phi over 4. No issue, because this is tan is positive when here as well, here and here. Correct now? But what's the issue now? You know that x is between 0 and 5 over 2, and that what do you call, so if I get 2x will be 0 and 5, between 0 and 5, correct? 2x will be between 0 and 5. Therefore this is rejected, because it is 5 plus something, correct no? Right? Therefore what? Therefore 2x will be equal to 5 over 4. That means x is 5 over 4. Is this clear? Right now?